All right, we're recording. So, I am here today with Jake Moore, one of the owners, not the sole owner, correct?
Correct.
For War X in Thurman, Ohio. Thank you for being here. This is the third interview I've done so far, hoping to get a bunch more in this year as fast as possible and get word out about local obstacle course races. So, thanks for being here.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Glad to be here.
So, my first question, how many years have you been hosting this event? And then after that, can you talk about the 3 events you host and just like, well, as broadly or deeply as you want to go into the specifics of those events?
Sure. So we've been doing this for about 6.5 years now. The event has evolved from the very beginning to where we were initially a survival / OCR. We incorporated a lot more survival stuff. Sorry about the traffic in the background if you hear it.
You're good.
Yeah, we had a lot of we did a lot of stuff with that, and there wasn't as big of a call for something like that, and so we kind of moved more towards a obstacle course racing, and now we do the Trilogy event and Trilogy 3, obviously, over the weekend. Due to our location, we realize Thurman, Ohio is not on anybody's radar.
Yeah.
And you got to say, oh, we're this far from Columbus or Cincinnati and stuff like that for people to understand about the location. But we hold this event as a trilogy because having everybody come out to a full weekend is definitely more likely than, hey, here's just a 10K or here's just a 5K. The numbers definitely improve for that, and that's why we do it that way. So to fill up that weekend, we run the 3 events. The first one is the most intense, the big race, the Saturday morning 10K OCR, war zone. Everything is engaged on that. All the biggest obstacles. People have, if they want to, they can run multiple laps, which I could get into that separately. That's like a 1% completion rate, but
What?
oh yeah, maybe even less. Then that afternoon, after the 10K, I'll say 10K ish, as all OCRs mostly are ish.
Yeah.
After that, then yes, we run a short 3K, we call it the battle challenge. And what it is some of our biggest obstacles that maybe have been running the first part of the day. We sometimes have them run backwards through that part of the course, or the obstacles themselves backwards. We also incorporate like this entire, an assault scene where you may have to put some safety glasses on because of what's going on. We kind of up the game a little bit more. It's a short course, so we do have some people that just sign up for that because they're not ready for 10K or what have you. But we also have a live fire range on that part of the course on 3K, so everybody will get a chance to get down, shoot the AR-15s, hit the targets. Like I said, the big stuff's in there, the slides, some of the bigger rigs and stuff that we have now. So, and then we round everything out on Sunday morning with a nice 5K. We call it the Victory Run. It's a pain still because there's a lot of terrain where we are, and but overall, I think it really definitely helps loosen everybody's legs back up because they just got crushed over the weekend. So yeah, then we round it out with that, and about noon on Sunday, and it's a great time overall.
That's awesome. So I think I became aware of War X probably 3 years ago, roughly around then, maybe 4, because we've been putting out the article of like the big list of small OCRs for several years now. So every year I go back through the research, I find out about new ones, find out that some like have gone away, unfortunately, find out about like up and coming ones. And I think that's what first put it on the radar. And so I love the explosions, the fire, the flamethrowers. The shooting during an obstacle course race, to me, I love shooting. I do some tactical competitions. I'm not super good. I just love them. Like I'm doing one this weekend. And so that in an obstacle course race just sounds awesome. Yeah. And I think I've told you this before when we've been talking in email, but like I'm dying to get up there and do the event.
No, I'm
It's
sure.
just
I was
it's a
looking for our
hike.
medal on your wall.
I know. I know. It's a hike, and logistically with my family and work and stuff, I just haven't been able to make it yet. But one day I will, because I want to do all three in a row. I want to do the one with shooting, just because like an OCR with guns just sounds great.
A lot of times on the course, during the 10K race, depending on, depending on what you're there to do. If you're there to crush the 10K out and say, hey, I'm competitive wave, I'm just flying through this thing as fast as I can, great. But we have a lot of guys that start doing that, and then we're like, hey, you want to come shoot this? And we're like, what? Yeah. And come over here, shoot this bag of tannerite, make an explosion, and then be on your way.
That's awesome. I didn't know you shot tannerite. That's cool.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So in regards to the obstacles, generally speaking, for the 10K, how many obstacles do you try to set up?
We definitely have 50, and we go anywhere between 50 and 60, depending on what we got.
That is obstacle dense. That's awesome.
Yeah, no, it's definitely, the terrain is the biggest obstacle out
Okay.
at Rex. And pretty much everybody would tell you that. Obviously we like to think that we could build the biggest ones, but the terrain is savage out there. So, about 50 plus, and we just keep upgrading them out throughout the year. So we're not necessarily going to add more than probably 60 ever, but we love to change the obstacles, and because that way you never come back and say, oh yeah, I've done this one. You'll never, no one can ever say that.
Nice. Shoot, I almost lost. Oh yeah. So you have a bunch of unique obstacles. Like it's a 300-foot slide, right?
Yeah, it's a little over.
Yeah, that like the pictures from your events are so awesome because they have the flames, this massive slide, and this tiny little person going down it, and you really get the scale of it, and it's the American flag, so it's super cool. There's one that's like a big circle wall, right, and grips on it. Is that correct? Yeah. What's that one called?
The Decagon.
Okay.
Got 10 sides to it. We named it Decagon. That was a product, I think, of my brother came up with that idea, and we were trying to think of a new, like a signature style obstacle, and it's pretty neat. It's unique. It's not a horrible grip strength or anything. It's just, it takes some coordination.
Yep.
And patience, and it can get away from you. They're like really heavy, so you throw your whole weight into it, it's going to throw you right off. But
nice.
Yeah, it's fun.
Of all of the obstacles you have, we'll just go with this year. Plan for this year. Which one do you think is the hardest, or the one that most people will struggle the most with?
Oh, the Eliminator is, it's
got a good title for it.
Yeah, it does change every year. It's about 80 feet long. It traverses uphill. It's built all military style with telephone poles, and it's got a lot of grip strength required. Some spinning stuff that you see, similar to what you'd see at other events. I'm not sure what they call them, but we use logs instead of like just pieces of metal that rotate, and it's just it's technical and grip heavy, and everybody struggles with that in one way or the other. And that's why it's one of our banded obstacles.
Okay.
So
not all obstacles are banded then?
No. So I'm not sure if you know what I mean by that, but you earn bans at WarX, you don't get it taken away.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. So you can basically what if there's, let's just say there's 10 banded obstacles, you could earn up to 10 bans. And if you come back with 9, doesn't mean you're out of the running for a podium. It just means you'd have to have more than the other person that beat you.
That's cool. So is the winner more geared towards the bands or more geared towards the time, or is it a mix of both?
Most people are definitely geared towards the bands.
Okay. All right.
Because they're cool bands too, and you keep them. I mean, the last year's bands said "I Bleed Awesome" on them, and they were red, white, blue, yellow, black, and so yeah, that's how we gear our obstacles. And instead of failures, you just don't get a band.
Got it. See, I did not know that. That's cool because every other race, I've never heard of a race that hands out bands for completion. It's usually, just take it away if they didn't complete the obstacle.
Right.
And then that's a factor in whether or not they podium based on if other people kept their bands or not.
Right.
Interesting. So for the medals, I've been following your social media for a few years now. And I saw a post recently with the medals. They look awesome, but do you make the medals? Because you were painting the medals in the post.
Right. We paint them, but we
Okay.
have a local company in Columbus cut them. They're all made of aluminum. So they CNC them out, clean them up for us, but we decide what the paint scheme is going to be. And because our paint scheme has always been pretty unique, it's more cost effective as well. I mean, when you're doing 500, 1,000 medals or whatever it's going to be, you definitely need to be able to adjust. So every medal's a little bit different because we paint them. So.
Got it. Okay, cool. Last year, I guess, technically it was last year. I think the results came out this year. OCR Buddy did their like best in the business kind of, I'm blanking on it, like their show. And so your race was voted the best overall, right? Including out of big races too.
Yeah, it was voted best overall event. I think we were up against OCRWC and Tough Mudder. So we were really excited about that because for us, it's not just like how hard can we make this and how, obviously we want lots of people to come out, but when we have people come out, everybody there will say that there's just something that different about the way we do things. And most of our, I would say it has a lot to do with the fact that because we do have shooting and live fire and explosions and all these different things, that we don't have regular volunteers. Everybody that volunteers with us has to be extremely safe and trusted. And they're not just, we can have people stand out there and just watch the safety for, make sure nobody drowns in the water. But, when it comes to, hey, hold this weapon. And when people are coming by, if they want to shoot, let them do it. You can't just have anybody do that. So I feel like the personal part of us out on the course matters big time because everybody there has put a lot of effort into Warx and really cares, like, how much fun are you actually having? Like we want, when we see you come by, we're like, hey, great job. Everybody hears that, but we're just like, hey, what are you thinking? What do you think? Do you like this? Do you want to shoot this? And people are, to us, it's amazing that they're surprised that we do that. But to us, it's just, it's a blast. We love to see like people say, I hate you guys. I'm like, yes, did it again.
For the firearms, how do you manage that? Because obviously firearm safety is a big deal. You have someone there who's properly trained.
Yeah, absolutely. We have probably about 10 fully trained. Sorry, my dog's out. Fully trained instructors. So they keep positive control of the firearm the entire time. When anybody say, hey, you want to come shoot this? They're standing over top of them because we know a lot of people have never, maybe even touched one. And you gotta, muzzle control and all those kind of things that go into the safety factor. And that's why we only used long guns or ARs because, pistols are just too hard to control.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Muzzles get turned real fast.
Oh yeah. We tried that one year and it just freaked us out. We were like, this is too difficult to manage and safety's gotta be paramount. So.
Yeah, that makes sense. So Indian Mud Run used to be in Ohio for years, and someone else's awards, I can't remember who it was, whatever. There used to be another awards thing. They were a very highly rated obstacle course race.
Absolutely.
I think they were the highest rated small one for a while there for several years, and just had a huge following. They went away, the owner retired, whatever else happened. Did you all see an influx of people after that? And how were things when Indian Mud Run was there?
Well, first off, loved Indian Mud Run. we went there several times to support Hubie Cushman. Awesome. When when they shut down, it left a huge hole there. So I spoke with him, several of the others in the area, just to say, hey, we'd like to take this date that you have, or this time frame you usually use. Are you guys okay with that? Because we're not Indian Mud Run. Nobody's Indian Mud. You know what I mean? So we wanted to show that we respected them, that we are honoring them and what they've done. So yes, we did see an influx at that point from more people that were dying to get back. They're like, oh, there's no Indian Mud Run. Let's see what Worx is. So that did help for us. But I would just say that, like, it is still amazes me that people are in Columbus, like, I've never heard of Worx, and they're like an hour away. I was like, how is this possible? So yeah.
That actually leads perfectly into another question I had. I wasn't going to get to it yet, but since we're already here, marketing. So marketing is the lifeblood of any type of business like this. And if the marketing isn't there and people don't know your race exists, they're not going to sign up. So what type of strategies do you all use? Because going through social media, I follow an enormous, partly for the article and the research, and then running the OCR's greatest competition this year, I follow it like close to 100 local OCRs on social media. And I see some of them have decent like interaction on there. A lot of them don't, just because of the nature of social media and kind of how, it's complicated, but social media is a complicated thing. But your content on Facebook and Instagram does very well. So what types of things do you all do?
So one thing is we definitely we do put some money into marketing on Facebook through paid ads. Now, that being said, once we get that promo video that you've probably seen, first guy painting his beard.
I've seen it a ton of times.
Gotta love it, right? Once you watch it once, of course, Facebook thinks you want to see it again and again. But we do utilize those factors there. So we put some money into that. Once we have that video going, I always call it the background video, because that's only in the background, reaching hopefully a lot of people that don't know us. I'm hoping that they see us, but then when they come to our social media page, I need to be, and unfortunately for me, because I happen to be the social media guy, I don't create the photos and the videos. That is our other partner, John, who is obviously very good at doing that, putting those things together in those promos. But what I do is when I post, I always kind of think like everybody's getting sold all the time. And every time, and I've noticed that sometimes it doesn't usually work. If you want a lot of people to engage, don't sell them. So sometimes sometimes maybe I should be saying, hey, sign up. But I also, whenever I've done that, have seen very low likes and reactions and reaches and less shares as well. So what I do mostly is I try to post pictures and content that are more fun and engaging in the picture itself. Like, the kid that I had standing at the finish line with the AR-15 in his hand.
I saw that photo. Yeah.
That's my nephew. And he looks like a little hardcore. And I'm just like, our judges aren't messing around this year. I didn't need to go into a bunch of details. And I don't know. I just feel like sometimes that people will take a little longer to look at the picture, read it, because that's what it takes. The second you pause on something. So, I mean, without getting into all that crap, which I'm sure you already know, you want people to see it, share it, and like it. So I try to sell. That's my biggest thing. I try not to sell. Now and then I say, hey, don't forget about it. June 29th.
I think it's working, and it's not, without going into depth on it. I've done marketing courses, and like one example that is a very well-known one is like Red Bull. Red Bull doesn't sell drinks. In fact, like if you go to their Instagram page, most of their photos and or videos don't have their drinks in them. They're
Right.
just like a sports action page. And
Yes.
I can't remember, like when I went through the last course I did, they said it's one of the largest entertainment platforms in the world, like Red Bull's social media outlet. So it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's about creating content that's engaging and exciting. And if people are engaged and excited to see you, they want to interact with you, they want to do your event. So
It's tough to do though.
it is. Yeah,
Struggle with
it
it
is.
day after day.
I think you guys are doing a good job because, yeah, you get a lot of, especially on Facebook and actually Instagram too. Photos are like the older thing now, and even your photos do well. And videos, everyone wants videos, and
No, everybody wants
social media wants to push videos because then people sit there staring at them for longer. So
exactly.
I hate it, but it's the way it is. It's all good.
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
Circling back almost to the beginning here, I just remembered you mentioned there's a multi-lap option and that no one or almost no one has completed it.
Yeah, so we've had a handful. I would say a handful completed in the last 3 years out of probably 100 people sign up for it. You know, over those times, I would say last year we had maybe 40 or 50 people sign up for it. By the time they finished the 10K, they're like, nah, I ain't doing that.
Really?
So they signed up for it, but about probably out of 45 people actually continued on, and then one person did it.
Does the multi-lap cost more? Is that an additional
$30
%? Okay, that's not bad.
$30, but what it is it's not the full 10K. So
Okay.
you run the full 10K, and then you get the first 3 miles of the course, the best part of the course, the slide, the big obstacles, everything. So it's an extra 2 more 5Ks basically,
Got it.
and that's what you run.
So you do the 10K and then 2 5Ks.
Yeah,
But not the full course.
correct.
Okay, all right.
So basically,
I'm gonna do when I can finally get up there. I'm gonna do that.
Oh yeah, I mean there'll be definitely more people to do it this year, and we got an awesome new medal for it. It's super cool. But it's called the Warrior Gauntlet, and
Okay.
yeah, it's definitely it's very challenging. It'll test you.
In regards to price for the 10K, so pricing obviously changes. Early bird pricing is usually far, far cheaper. The closer you get to the event, it's usually more. On average, how much is a ticket for the 10K and then the 2 mile and the 5K trail run?
Okay. So I would say on average between the low and the high, it's somewhere around $90 for the 10K. And then if you want to do competitive, we add the $10 for that. Then I should add too, the 10K has a 5K option. So yeah, if you wanted to do trilogy, but you didn't want to do the whole 10K, you're just like, I want to do the 5K and then the later afternoon thing. So there is a 5K option for the 10K.
Cool.
And then again, the 5K is just about half price of the 10K. The afternoon one I think is like $65. It starts out like 50 somewhere in there, and then the trail run is like $50.
Nice. So one thing that I think people don't know about local obstacle course races, one, how creative and unique the obstacles are there, but then also how they cost less. So like,
yeah,
I'm blown away. I used to have like Spartan season passes and get to a ton of their races. I don't do that anymore because now I'm in hybrid and tactical competitions. It just doesn't make sense. I can't travel as far anymore either because of family and work and everything. But every single year when I sign up for a Spartan, I'm shocked at how much it costs.
it is.
So I'm desperately scrounging for discount codes all the time. And also with like Savage Race, same thing. They're both, I did a price breakdown comparison against them for an article last year, and they were getting up in the high ones. So like 170. If you were in the pro waves, it was like $180 some for the short courses. So like, to me, that's a lot of money. But if you can come and do a 10K with 50-ish obstacles and then another one, you can get it 2 events in one day for cheaper with more obstacles and more creativity and diversity of obstacles. So like,
Yeah.
I think people don't understand how much is out there. And that's another reason why these interviews are happening.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think part of it comes down to, we don't, I'm not to defend the bigger races at all by any means. I mean, Savage happened to schedule on the same weekend we are, 3
Dang.
hours away. So that was but no, the bottom line is we don't have to tear down. At Warx, there's no other place that I can think of that would allow us to do what we do anyways. It's
that's for sure.
insane. People are always like, oh, why don't you come to California? I'm like, yeah, no, we wouldn't fit in out there. As much as we have people from California come out to us. So, yeah, I think that the pricing is a big thing, but we also try to keep it low because we know it costs a lot to travel. And if you want people to come out to, your event and you're remote, especially if you're remote like we are, that you can't go crazy on the prices. I mean, they can just stay local and pay that much,
Yep. With the event being remote, where do most people stay when they come out there?
Yeah. So we have a couple larger towns right next to us, like within 10, 15 minutes away. And there's probably about 10 hotels. And we offer camping on site, which a lot of people take advantage of.
Yeah.
Especially because we do like fireworks on Saturday night and everything. And it's, we have big bonfires and everybody hangs out. And then, whatever happens, happens.
Cool. Do you have food and like food trucks and stuff on site for the events?
Yep. We have food on site, beer from a local brewery on tap. And yeah, all the normal things that you would expect at a festival.
Nice. And so you have fireworks?
Yeah, we do. We did fireworks last year. We're going to do it again this year. It was a big hit. So we do them right at the top of the slide.
What? So theoretically, someone could hold on to a firework while going down the slide.
It happened. We had one of our good friends put together about 100 Roman candles and hold them in his hands, and we lit those off to start the fireworks. He went down the slide into the pond with them.
I gotta make it out there.
Yeah,
anyone listening needs to sign up and go because that's epic. That's the way to do it.
Yeah, we have a good time, that's for sure.
All right, slight change of topic here, but still with the race. So Operation Enduring Warrior, can you tell us about it, how you all partner with it, and anything else?
Yeah, Operation Enduring Warrior, bottom line is one of the best 501c out there because they're all volunteer. That's what kind of drew us to them. Every dime goes directly to supporting troops, law enforcement and firefighters too. They have multiple different programs. They don't just do obstacle course racing. They do skydiving, archery, all that stuff. So we partnered with them after probably the second year we were working. We got together with them, found a lot in common. We said, hey, let's partner up. We want to offer you guys our facility to use whenever you want to, at your disposal. We will do anything that needs to be done. And it helped them because it caught a lot of red tape from them, like going on to bases and having to deal with that kind of stuff. So they'll come out. I mean, we just had a couple guys come out, some of the top level guys come out there and spend some time there with us building this last time we were down building, and just had a good time talking. And a lot of times, that's what guys just need, just some fellowship. Let's get together and chat. Let's go riding, side by sides at midnight and see what happens, see what we can get into. But that's what we wanted to do, was partner with them, support them. So we are their official training site. They train new masked athletes at Warx, and that's a brutal scene. It's like watching a SEAL selection for 24 hours, and it's like, oh.
Those are the gas masks?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and I don't know if you know why they wear the gas mask, if you saw that, but
I don't know why.
Yeah, there's a really good reason behind it. They wear the gas mask to make the course harder for themselves to remember what the guy next to them that they're taking through, whether he be an amputee or in a wheelchair or PTSD, whatever it is, they take that because they're walking around, they're athletic, but they throw that gas mask on there and it brings them down a few notches, I'd say. And then the other thing, to maintain to be anonymous. They don't want the focus on them. They want it on the honoree. So
That's awesome.
yeah, that's why they wear it. It's
Wow.
pretty. They're a great organization.
I've worn those masks before. There was one in a competition I did last year, and you're just like sucking for air the whole time. So yeah, makes it way harder. Yeah. That's awesome that they do that. That's a great organization. And that's another thing I found with, not that like big OCRs don't partner with charities or partner with great organizations, but one thing I found, especially with these interviews, but just in general in my research, is that many, if not most, local obstacle course races are partnering for something, whether it's like to help a community with like a new community center, or if it's something to do with military, firefighter, police department, whatever. So it's awesome. The money's not just going to a business, which there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with businesses making a profit or staying afloat or anything, but it's awesome when it also goes to something important, good, worthwhile.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what makes it fun. I mean, and we tell everybody every time we're there, this is why we're here. We're doing it. We have a blast. This is like therapeutic for all of us owners and people that volunteer down there. When we go down there and build every month, this is therapy for us. I mean, we're all either former military or have some problem in our background that we're either getting over or whatever. And it's nice. You spend time down there, you work, but it's working for something so fun. And then we're doing it for Operation Enduring Warrior. Everything about it feels good. And you come back to your regular life and drive on refreshed.
It's awesome. I love it. This is a question I've been asking each time I interview someone, and I'm going to keep it going. What part of running an obstacle course race do you find the most challenging?
Probably about 10 minutes before it starts, not throwing up.
Why?
Mostly because the most challenging part for me, and I mean, I mean that, but at the same time, that was kind of a joke, but is I feel the most concerned. I don't want anybody ever to get hurt. And I know it's going to happen. It happens almost every time, whether they roll an ankle, bend a knee backwards, the heat, the hydration, whatever it is. I don't like the anticipation of that. And, to be out on our course, you can imagine there's a little bit more heightened due to everything that's going on all the time. So safety is always a paramount thing. And that's why I had to take safety off myself and give it to somebody else to say, you are in charge of safety. If you see anybody doing unsafe, including myself, you call quits on it. So that goes out of my hands, but at the same time, being the race director, I find the most challenging part is, leading up to the event and reeling everything back in to realize, hey, this is okay to do. This is not okay to do. We can't do that. We can't do that. And you have so many different personalities that do have a say with what's going on. And so you want to make sure that you also play nice with everyone. And that's, to me, that's the biggest thing, is the concern over safety is always one of our biggest things, and make sure that if you leave there, it's because you weren't paying attention and you stepped in a hole. It wasn't something that we did that caused you to be hurt. That's always the big thing. So, and I think every race director probably worries about that.
That makes sense. You were mentioning the different personalities on the team. How big is the team that puts on WarX? How many people?
So we generally have about 30 to 40 of us that are the core group. And on any given build, I would say that group's down to about 10. So you have about 10 of them that are making decisions on what's being built, how things are being spent, what we're doing this week or whatever. But on race day, there's 30 core group members that are running things. And, we have it split up into teams. We have everything on, everybody's on different radio channels. We coordinate before the event with a big brief the night before, a brief the morning of, and then a debrief with how everything went and did not go well or did go well. And that entire team has a say in what they saw, what they heard on the course, who loved it, who didn't like it, and what we could change for next time. And that's great.
Nice. It glitched for a second there, but I called it all.
No,
Do you do like custom race participant, whatever you want to call them, like feedback surveys to like take into those AARs?
I don't think we do it officially, but I know myself and at least 4 of our owners are always in the festival area after the race or at the finish line. And we're asking people, what'd you like? What'd you not like? How was it overall? And of course you get that's crazy. That was awesome. But then there is some good feedback that comes back, say, hey, you know what? I didn't care for that. I'm like, all right, noted. So we take notes, put it on the whiteboard, and we've got about 12 to 20 feet of whiteboard on our walls that we always are scribing everything all over. So we pay attention. And that's the thing is like, if we don't make adjustments, you're falling behind. The same thing over and over again, and you're going to lose people. They want excitement. They want the risk. They want the excitement, certain level of danger. All right, we got it.
I can speak on behalf of one of the athletes we work with who went to your event last year. I think she only did the 10K. I don't think she did multiple. I can't remember. It was last year. But she loved it. She was texting me about it right afterwards and was like, this was awesome. And I was like, I know, I want to go.
Right on. That's good.
So there's another one for you.
Right on.
Are there any unique obstacles this year that you can talk about, or do you want them to be a surprise?
Yeah, no, we're going to show. So we're going to try to switch gears this year. As we've seen people come up and try to do obstacles, and what seems very obvious to us is not obvious to everybody. And it's because we built it, obviously. But we are going to try to show more of what we're building and how it's intended to be used. Also, we're going to do some how-to videos that will either come out on social beforehand or and probably be playing at the event in the parking area / nice. the area there. So when people come up and they've never seen, I bet there's at least 5 to 10 obstacles that are like, how do I do this the right way? That's what we want to focus on. And we want to give people the answers because they're still hard and they're still ridiculous. So why not show people how to do it the right way through some how-to videos, and we can show them how not to, stuff like that. But the one big obstacle we have coming up is on the back pond. We're still working through. It's scary, high, it's huge.
Did you post about this on social media?
I did. It's giant. Yeah.
I saw something and it looked like it was from very high up, and I was like, oh, that'll be interesting.
Yeah, it's way up there. There's going to be 2 parts to it and a center part over the pond. So cool. I would anticipate it's going to be more fun. I don't want this to be a very super difficult obstacle. I want it to be a fun, but yet kind of a little bit scary obstacle, more like a Tarzan swing type thing.
If there's height to it, it'll scare enough people. So if it's fun on top of that, then that's perfect.
Yeah, our floating dragon's back crushes people every year. It's
That's awesome. I've said it before. I'll say it till the day I die, probably. The monotony of doing certain races over and over and over again. sucks. So it's awesome when you can go, even if you went to like 5 local obstacle course races in a year, you would see dozens of different obstacles, dozens,
Absolutely.
especially if you're going to some of the bigger local ones. Like yours is a bigger local one as far as the number of obstacles and the terrain and everything. So like,
Oh yeah.
yeah, it's so cool seeing it. Yeah, I've been seeing all your posts from the build week, or at least the most recent build week. How many of those do you do? As many as
We
it takes?
we do about 7 or 8.
Okay, yeah.
So we work. None of us are closer than 3 hours away to this property. So
Hike.
all of us travel. I'm at 3 hours, and the rest of them are summed up to 5, 8 hours away. So we travel once a month and stay there for a week and work after the race. So we after the event we take off a couple months, and then we're back to it. Come October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May. Every month we're there working on it and building something and changing it. So
Do you keep, you mentioned that, so it's like since you own the land, it's a permanent course, but you change things up. Do you leave certain things in place? Like the slide goes into water. I mean, you could move it, but you're probably not moving it, right?
well, no, it's dug in too.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you do end up hitting like 25 to 30 miles an hour down the slide. So it's kind of dug in to make sure that you stay in the slide. And the material for the slide is actually like commercial grade stuff that you would find on the roof of a hospital. So it's definitely not going to wear out or anything.
Nice.
So yeah.
Do you keep most of the obstacles up after the event, and then when you come back, you switch it up, change placements and things like that?
Yes. So we'll leave all the structures up, and we'll take everything that is that could be damaged in the weather, ropes, pulleys, all those kind of things. We take all those down, bring them in, and then once we decide what we're going to build for the year, we'll go to those obstacles. But we don't set and put out ropes or rings or anything that's, again, could wear out until like either the month before or the week before.
Gotcha. Makes sense. Yeah, and I talked to Gabe, who runs Obstacle Wonderland in New York, for the last interview, and he has a permanent course because it's on his property. So the wear and tear was something he mentioned, but you can also take the things in and out, like you were mentioning, to prevent damage. And there's not the transportation cost, so you can charge less for the entries and all that stuff. So yeah, permanent courses, man, one day maybe I'll have a permanent course. But they're awesome because they give you a lot of flexibility.
Yeah, and you got to keep up with them too. And that's we spend hours and hours just inspecting the obstacles that we do have out there, just to make sure, like, hey, this needs more paint, or this is rotted now, get rid of it. Whatever it is, you got to keep up with it. So yeah,
makes sense. Is there anything else you would like people to know about your event, like the date?
Yeah, June 29th. That's a Saturday, and then the 30th is the Sunday morning victory run, as we'll call it. Yeah. That everybody comes back and hashtag WarX sucks after this, but it's fun.
They don't mean it. I mean, they mean it, but they don't.
Oh, they love it. But June 29th is going to be a blast. We also open the Friday before, so everybody, or the Friday of, so people can come out if they're going to camp, or if they're in the hotels nearby, because we know the travel's far. Most people are actually already in the area. So come on out, play 4 to 8 p.m. You can walk the course, check it out, play on the obstacles, and pick up your packet and stuff like that. So speeds things more. Yeah, no, we usually testing our Tannerite at that point, mixing it up. Nice. We have an entire mixing party happening at that point. Like usually about 300 pounds of Tannerite. We're bagging it and mixing it. So yeah.
There is one final question I just remembered. So I can't remember who we were talking to. Luke, who's the co-owner of Trio with me. We were talking to someone recently, and we mentioned like machine guns and obstacle course races. And they're like, who does that? And we're like, Warex. Well, Luke said Warex. And I was like, do they have machine gun fire going in the background? So just to clear it up, do you or don't you?
Yeah, so it's not live ammo,
Okay.
but there is 50 cals, and they're a complete 50 cal setup.
Yep.
And it sounds absolutely real. You almost have to have earplugs next to this thing. But yeah, they're running around the course, and they're propane and oxygen is what they are.
Oh, cool.
So they add, we mount them on vehicles and add to the atmosphere of Warex.
That's awesome. I thought you were going to say blanks, but that's a unique way to do it. Nice.
Oh, it was fun when we first got them, and we were like, oh, this is nice. So we have 350 cals and a 30 cal, and they're fun to shoot. I mean, we have everybody get pictures with them and shoot with them and stuff as well. So
awesome. It sounds like it'll be a super fun event again, as always. I don't doubt you'll probably be #1 again this coming year, just based on the changes you're making and how well you've done in the past. So I really appreciate you talking to us about this, and hopefully people who didn't know about the event now know about it. Hopefully someone who was thinking about signing up now knows a lot more and wants to sign up. And if this hasn't convinced them, they should definitely go look at your social media, because the photos are epic. From all the obstacle course races I've seen, if you're discounting just sheer view, like mountain views, but if you just want awesome photos, you guys have it with fire and like jumping off of high things, going down 300-foot slides. So if nothing else, it's worth it for the photos.
Yeah. Oh, you get some good photos. There's no, we have hundreds and hundreds of everybody going down that slide, and it is funny. I look at them sometimes and just start laughing. So everybody comes off that thing different. But
okay, I lied. I have one more question that I just photos, free or are they charged?
Free.
Nice.
Yep.
That's changing in the OCR market, at least at the large scale. So it's nice when they are free, less expenses.
So I'll mention the other free thing. We don't have any spectator fees at all.
Nice. Nice.
People are allowed on the course to take pictures, do whatever they want there. And we always we were blown away that this wasn't a thing everywhere. We didn't realize it, but there's always water for free. Back at the festival, bottled water is free. I don't know why that's even a thing, that it's not free, but it is.
I never thought about that before. Yeah, like if you did the race and you finished, there's water, bananas, whatever stuff they have at the finish line. But yeah, there's never just water sitting around.
Free. It's free. We have an entire crate of it that we set out for anybody and everybody. We just want people to stay hydrated. And obviously we got hoists every year, and everybody goes after the hoist. It seems like that's gone as soon as we put it out. So yeah. But no, I wanted to thank you for this, man. I appreciate taking the time. And I know there's I did want to mention too, if it's okay, that like we have some awesome teams come out and from other courses that are just blows us away. I mean, these guys have their own course, but they bring out an entire team to race at Warex, and we're just impressed and loving it. I mean, but and their event is just before ours. It's Highlander Assault. I don't know if you've spoken with those guys.
I haven't talked with them yet, but I believe Dana and Aaron work with them, right?
They do. I think they do, or they did. But yeah, Chad Riff and Matu Boyle, Irish guy, great dude. But yeah, no, I just shameless plug for them, but they're such great guys.
Absolutely.
They always come to our event. We're happy. Going to be their events in mid-June, so they're just before we're excited to have them out again. So, but no, I appreciate everything, man. It's been awesome.
Yeah. It's, I mean, we're just trying to like make people more aware, because I know the awareness isn't there for a lot of the races. I've put out a bunch of polls on social media, and like how many one of them I put out on Instagram was like, how many local obstacle course races do you think there are in the US? And I had like different options, like 10 50, 75, 100. And most people are guessing on like the mid-range round 50. And when I put up the answer of 100, like it's double what the normal person thinks. So there's a lot of them. There's a lot of great options. People need to know about them. That's all we're trying to do.
Right on. That's awesome. That's cool that you guys are doing this. We're excited to be a part of it.
Yeah. Hopefully a lot of people participate. Whoever wins OCR's greatest this year is going to get like an insane prize because there's entries to tons and tons of races in there. I think we're at like 12 or 13 races right now for entries, something like that. So they're going to have a full race season next year, whoever wins. So yeah, it'll be cool.
Wow, that's awesome. Super cool.
Awesome. Thanks again, Jake. It was awesome talking to you. And yeah, hopefully the build continues to go well and you have an awesome event this year.
I really appreciate it. Thanks.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.